Welcome to International Securities Exchange's podcast series. Facilitated by renowned educators, ISE podcasts are intended to teach beginning as well as seasoned investors the ins and outs of trading. To find an updated list of podcasts, please visit www.ise.com/podcasts. Please be sure to listen to our important message following this episode regarding the risks of investing in exchange-traded options.
Welcome, everyone. This is your host, Steve Meisinger. Today we'll be talking about the importance of having a daily routine for FX options. I have Steve Misic with me. Steve is the instructor for the Online Trading Academy. He teaches futures, forex, equities, options. His email is smisic@tradingacademy.com. And again, he will be delivering this great presentation on the importance of having a daily routine for trading FX options. Just want to give you a quick reminder about the currency options that we have here at the ISE. All you need is to have an account with an equity options broker. They are cash settled in US dollars. They're European style, and they can be traded as spreads. The symbols are right there on slide number 2. And if you want to use some of the tools, I'd urge you to do so. You can go to the great website called www.fxoptions.com. Without further ado, I want to introduce Steve Misic, the instructor for Online Trading Academy. Steve, thanks for joining us today.
Oh, hello there, Steve, and welcome everybody. Thanks for popping in. I hope everybody's having a great day. Okay, and I'm trying to get a couple of things here working. All right, so before we get started here, let's talk a little bit about what we're doing. We are going to be talking about having a daily checklist and a daily routine, and I'm actually going to, in addition, doing a little PowerPoint here. Towards the end of the presentation, what we're going to try to do is go through a daily routine step by step for ISE FX options. And I'll share my desktop and go out to the web and do some of the other things that I always do. I have a little update going on here from TradeStation, so give me one little second. Eventually we'll get to TradeStation. I'll try logging in a bit. It keeps trying to pop up with an update. So, but we're looking here. We're trading ISE FX options. They're accessible through your options broker. You can trade them in your stock account, which is great. They're like wonderful to trade. Now that we have some of the options available, they can be used for stop losses for your spot currency trades if you want. Something to think about. They can be exercised European style. They can be traded as spreads. And the page we're looking at right here on ISE FX options, that's the list of all the available ones. Since I first came out here, it has grown quite a bit, the list. And now we actually have the ability to trade a few of the spot pairs too. So hopefully that isn't me making all that noise. All right, so let's see here. Let's move on to the next page. Okay.
Perfect.
All right, so I'm trying to share my desktop. You probably are seeing a blank desktop at this second. And give it a second for it to pop up. I need to see my presenters window pop up here. All right. So I'm going through a couple of the documents that we're going to be talking about here and a couple of the websites that we're going to be talking about. And I'm looking for my window to pop up here for the presentation itself. All right, so I'm going to try sharing this presentation that I have right here, and hopefully you guys can see it. It's basically my version of the presentation because it looks like my WebEx window disappeared, so I may have to go this route here.
Yeah, we're looking at the invitation for WebEx.
Okay, yeah, and it's probably moving a little bit slow, right?
Well, we just see the invitation URL that I sent you.
Okay. All right, how about now?
Nothing changed.
Okay, I'm seeing my presentation, so it popped up over here. So I'm sharing the desktop, so it should be popping up here.
Is anybody else seeing it? I'm not. I don't know.
I can see it.
All right, I got a couple that say they can. Maybe I've got a slower internet connection than everybody else. It seems like as soon as I shared...
Brandon says he's seeing it. Okay. All right. I see it now. Okay.
All right, good. All right, so let's move on.
Let me just remind everyone that I had to close one of the, I think you opened another window, and I had to close that because Martin says he can't know the desktop from here. So just try to close the other browser or whatever.
I should close the browser, or should we be good?
No, you should be good. But I had to close one, and you might have to do the minimize the browser or minimize the screen.
All right. So everybody, can everybody see I'm on the disclaimer page here for trading FX options and all kinds of options? Always make sure you go and get a copy of Characteristics of Risks and Standards option trading. It's something you should do before you're allowed to trade options. Your broker should present one of these to you. If you don't get one, you should go out to 888 Options website and download a copy for yourself and understand the risks for trading your options. So now, today's presentation, the goal is it's designed to help you create your own daily trading checklist, no matter what you trade. And I'm doing FX options because we're doing a webinar for the ISE webinar series, and I'm doing it either as a written document, which some people like to use written documents, some people like to print the paper, and I used to print the paper a long time ago, and I used to print my trading log every day, and I would print pictures of my charts. And of course, after a while, I figured out a way to actually store all my documents as interactive web documents using cloud computing. So the presentation that you're looking at for today was created using Google Documents. And Google Documents is a free feature that Google allows you to share and create, upload documents, spreadsheets, PowerPoints, presentations they call them. You can also upload any files that you have on your computers, anywhere you have them, and then have them accessible anywhere in the world. So since I travel to all of the centers for the Online Trading Academy all over the world, this is a fantastic teaching feature for me because it allows me to share with my students daily routines, trades examples that I've taken in the past using different techniques. And also, I'll show you a couple of these when we get to that part of the presentation. Any changes that you save to a web document will be automatically reflected when the shared document is opened by anyone who shares the document. Imagine the time you save if you're sharing documents with hundreds of people all over the world and you're looking for somebody's email address. This is so beneficial. If I make changes to any of the documents that I share that are online documents, the person I share it with can see the changes immediately. The next time they open the document, the changes will be there. They can download a copy of the document, or they can make a copy of the document and save it and share it with their friends. So this document can be their own version of it after a while. And also they can download it in several of the different file formats that are popular, such as Microsoft Documents or as a PDF file. But if you have your checklist as an online document the way I use it, then I can have links to the various websites that I need to collect information from in an order, in a checklist order. And I can go step by step through my documents without fumbling around and looking for websites that I need to collect information. So the main reason for having a daily trading plan checklist is to be as organized and prepared as you can before you enter any of your trades. And organization is something that years ago I struggled with terribly. And so what I decided to do was I decided to get myself organized much on the way that a pilot would do a daily checklist. And I know pilots are probably tired of looking at checklists. They're probably tired of going through the routine that they go through every day. Yet they have to go through that routine, and they have to fill out that checklist before they fly the plane. And when you're preparing for a trading day, you need to make it a repeatable routine. And I'm teaching a wonderful group of students this week in the class here in Kansas City. I'm doing a live class on equities. And so they're learning how to become as organized as they possibly can. They're in the other room trading right now, and they're watching this presentation too at the same time. And I'm telling them, and as I'm telling everybody that I teach, trading is a skill that requires repeatable tasks so that you can learn it. And so having a daily checklist, making sure you don't miss any steps, making sure you don't wake up with any surprises is important. And if you start with a checklist right from the beginning, you'll find it so invaluable when you start to trade. And I also like to say that you can record a lot of information because your trading needs to be treated as a business. And so you need as much information about your trades, winning trades, losing trades. You need to record that information so that you can do a daily, a weekly, a quarterly review, just to see how you're progressing. Okay? So the following steps should be included as part of a daily trading plan checklist. Number one, have a trading log. It can either be a log like the one I'm going to show you, or it could be a loose leaf binder or a 3-ring binder, or it could be a spiral notebook, something that you used to use in school. But you want to write down in that document as much information as you possibly can about your trade, such as all the information of the time that the economic data is released during the day when you trade. You want to write down what the reactions were to that economic data if you happen to be trading short-term trades. You also want to include your emotional reactions to the trades that you take, because you want to have a record of how you felt when you took the trade. Were you comfortable? Were you nervous? What did you do right? What did you do wrong? And then again, record all as much of that information as possible. Place it in a daily trading log in a 3-ring binder if you do it on paper. Poke holes in it. Include screenshots of the before and afters of your trades, or consider doing the whole process as an online trading log, as the one I'm going to demonstrate for you during the presentation. Obviously, you save a lot of trees if you're doing it online, and you can keep a running total of how your trades are working out for you online. Step number 2, as you're preparing for your day, it's a good idea to have a few websites that provide updated news headlines. So you want to be able to glance, and see what's going on in the world currently. Plus, if you happen to be trading economic data releases from the previous day, you want to have a record and review what the press was saying about those economic data releases. So when you start gathering your information, have a couple of websites that you use for news headlines. Also, step 3, have a global calendar for global economic data releases. We're trading currencies. We're trading economies. We're trading economies of all the different countries in the world. And you want to know when the high-impact economic data releases that cause volatility in the currency pairs you plan on trading is going to be released. And, of course, reports that have unexpected results and they surprise the markets can sometimes change the current trend. Sometimes it can continue the current trend. So if you're not aware of when that data is going to be released, you're going to possibly be in a situation where you get blindsided. Now, you could also still get blindsided by events that you can't prepare for. You never know when one of the Fed officials is going to make a comment at a news conference that's taken by the market to be either hawkish or bearish or possibly dovish, or if Jean-Claude Trichet says something in effect to the euro. So you can't prepare for those. You never know when they're going to be released, but try to be as prepared as you possibly can. And nowadays, since this is a global world, I find myself traveling all over the world in different time zones. So you want to have at least 1 or 2 websites that convert time into your local time zone, especially if you're trading economic data releases from here in the U.S. when I'm overseas in Dubai. It's a whole different time zone. It's a whole different time of the day to be trading. They love to trade our time zones, and therefore they need to be aware of when our economic data is going to be released in their time zone. Also, I have a place for converting regular time into Greenwich Mean Time. Step number 4, start your trading platform. As soon as you log into your trading platform, you'll start to look around to see if you have any open orders, open positions, any mistakes from the previous day, orders you forgot to cancel, or positions that have stop losses that canceled because they were day-only orders. One of the biggest problems that a lot of traders have whatever they're trading, they don't use good to cancel orders, the platform doesn't default to good to cancel orders, and they find themselves with a position and a stop loss that canceled because it was a day order. If that happens, of course, are you prepared by having what we call a survival sheet? A survival sheet includes your broker's phone number, your account number, your customer number, your account secret question, the answer to your account secret question if you need it, and a list of your open positions. So if you happen to be trading and you lose power in the house, you lose internet, all you have left is your phone or your cell phone. Is your cell phone charged? Do you have a backup computer? We had some issues today with the internet in the classroom. And so do you have a backup internet connection, a wireless air card? Another thing, if you happen to call for technical support, a lot of times nowadays they're going to want you to tell them what your internet protocol of address is, your IP address. So do you know how to find that information? You can have that on a piece of paper, all of this information on a piece of paper in case the power goes out, the computer goes black, and also you can have that information online just in case it's an issue where you lose power to your trading platform and you need to talk to their technical support. Next step, before you do anything like looking at charts for support resistance and looking at trends, is to have all these other steps out of the way and have yourself prepared now to devote time to looking at your charts. Since we happen to be doing ISE FX options, it's only natural that you would want to have on your document, especially an online document, links to the various places on the fxoptions.com website for up-to-date charts. You want to know what the current trends of the market. You want to have a way to prioritize those trends. I'm primarily a swing trader and a position trader as an option trader. So my primary trend is always the weekly charts. That means that's the place where I look for what I call the market cycles or the 4 stages of the market. My secondary trends are the daily charts, and my entry charts for actually entering positions is 60-minute charts. So if the weekly trend is up, I'm looking for opportunities to buy either pullbacks to support or breakouts above resistance. And I can do that on a daily chart or a 60-minute chart. If I can't see any support or resistance on the weekly chart, then I'll use the daily charts to find support and resistance zones. And I also look at 60-minute charts for support and resistance zones if I'm going to do intraday trades. So I can adapt my style depending on if I want to trade for a short-term move in one of the currency pairs or if I want to trade for a longer-term move. So having this order allows me to prioritize which trends matter the most to me. A lot of times traders get confused. They see a great shorting opportunity on a 2-minute chart, but they don't realize that the weekly chart trend is up. That 2-minute shorting opportunity may just be counter to the primary trend and a quick opportunity to make some fast cash. But if you don't realize that, there's also the opportunity that you're going to be shorting a rising market, and if you don't have a stop loss, you could be in real trouble. So then I'm going to select the option strategies based on what I've seen. So if I look at my charts and I see that I have a range-bound market, I can do income-producing option spreads if I'm approved for that. And I can also do directional spreads if I see a trending market. So it would make sense on your daily checklist to have a link to the ISEFXoptions.com strategies page. Then you can go right to that strategies page and you could say, well, I've got a market here that's trading in some kind of a channel, so maybe I'll do iron condors. And then you can pretty much figure out your strategies. Step number 8, don't laugh, exercise. As a matter of fact, some of us could use more exercise, including myself. But exercise is something that you want to do before you trade because it's going to increase your concentration, it's going to increase your focus. if you can, pick a time where the market hasn't opened yet, because as soon as you sit down in front of that computer, you're going to need to focus on the markets and start to do some kind of exercise. It relieves stress, increases concentration. In my case, it helps me to get ready, gets the endorphins going through, gets the blood circulating. And then if I eat breakfast after I exercise, make sure you go easy on the foods that are going to make you tired as you trade, or go easy on caffeine. My biggest problem is I probably drink a Starbucks worth of caffeine every day, and sometimes it affects your performance, gets you too jittery. Okay? So are you prepared to trade? Well, let's do this. Let's go out to the ISE FX Options website and go through my daily checklist, which I prepared. And as we go through the daily checklist, we will look for our opportunities. So I'm going to try to get to the other page here. And if you guys could tell me when you see the, let's see here. All right. Let me know when you see a document that says ISE FX Options Daily Trading Checklist.
We got it, Steve. Perfect.
Awesome. All right. This is a Google document. You can see where it says Google document. You should be able to see my cursor too, because I'm moving my cursor.
Perfect.
All right. And notice it says ISE FX Options Daily Trading Checklist, plan the trade, trade the plan. That's my motto for every class I teach. We plan our trades and we trade our plans. So the first thing it says to do is to print your daily trading log. I have a link here, and that link takes me to a Google document, which once I click on it, hopefully all goes well, and it'll pop up to my daily trading log. When we get to my daily trading log, this is a document that I can print if I like to have my daily trading log on paper. I can print it off. I can have it sitting by my computer as I get prepared. I have a space for putting the date. I have a space for putting the currency pair that I plan on trading. I have a space for alert program. Alert programs means in my house, I have the ability to walk around the house because I have speakers attached to my trading computer. I use TradeStation, and I use TradeStation's horizontal trend lines, which I can set alerts on that will alert me when I'm walking around the house when price touches a line. So when the underlying ISE FX Options Index touches a line that I want to trade at, the computer will tell me, alert, and I will go into the trading room and I will place my trade by buying or selling the options that I want to trade based on what the underline is doing. I'll write down my primary trend from my weekly chart. I'll write down my intermediate term trend from my daily chart. And I'll write down my short-term trend from my 60-minute chart. If I plan on trading some kind of a news trade that happens in the Asian session, which would be very, very close to our session close, or in the European session, if I happen to be trading the futures or the spot, or in the U.S. session, then I'm going to write down the time and what that report is going to be. And I'll write it down and have it so that I can glance at that paper during the trading day to make sure I don't forget anything, like a Fed announcement at 2 o'clock Eastern Time or something that happens later in the day. Then I'm going to circle on here the type of trade I want to take. Is it a news trade, which is a short-term trade? Is it some kind of a trading range situation, which we consider to be long near support, short near resistance, or a swing trade? Or is it a trend trade or a position trade? Is it a long trade? And if it is, I need to write down supporting and negative factors. I need to write down at least 3 areas of support below current price. If I'm a new trader and I'm not quite sure of the different order types, and I find myself being confused on that, then I would want to look at my market order type, which means I'm just going to trade and buy the option on the offer. If I plan on buying a pullback to support below current price, I would use a limit order. However, if I want to buy a breakout above nearby resistance, I would use a buy stop. And you'll be surprised, a lot of times traders will have a hard time remembering which order and place the wrong order and get the wrong position. I'm going to do the same steps if I happen to enter a short trade. Supporting factors for going short, negative factors for going short. three key areas of resistance above current price. The market type of entry, limit entry, or a sell stop. And in this case, if I'm trading at the market, I'm going to be selling on the bid. If I'm trading a limit order, I'm going to be selling resistance above current price. And if I'm going to be selling a break of support below current price, I would need to use a sell stop. I'm going to calculate slippage on my trades if I'm trading a market with a market order. If I'm using a limit order, there's not going to be an issue with slippage, but I may not get filled. But I also want to calculate risk reward by writing down my entry, my stop, and my profit target on my long trade, subtracting the number I wrote in C from A, dividing that by the number I write in A from B, and that'll be my risk reward ratio. And I'm really shooting for, as a swing trader and a position trader, 3-to-1 or better. I can do the same thing if I happen to take a short trade, subtract the numbers to come up with the risk reward ratio. Now remember, if you're a brand new trader, you need to know the steps for doing this, but as you become a seasoned trader, you can always use a spreadsheet that'll record this information for you quicker. It's just that I always like to say it's a good idea to know the formulas before you actually take the shortcuts, like the spreadsheets. And then I'm going to write down position size. And depending on what I'm trading, spot or futures, I might take the percent of equity per trade divided by my stop loss. And if I'm doing an option, what I usually do is take the percent of equity at risk per trade and set my stop at 50% loss of the purchase price of the options that I buy. And of course, the other way I would get out of my trades if I'm trading options is if price violates my support zone or my supply zone or resistance zone, then of course I would unwind that position because price is probably going to go far against my short position. And then I can calculate the same thing for my risk reward and come up with my actual lot size. So for example, on a spot position, I could take 1% of a $10,000 account, and with a 20 pip stop, I could trade 5 mini lots. And if I was doing an option position, I could take 1% of a $25,000 account, come up with my risk per trade, and then figure my option purchase price, divide by 50%, and if I lost 50% on that trade, that would be my stop. Then I would write down my position size for each one of my trades that I take. Finally, we have our bracket exits. Occasionally, just to remind myself, if I'm a new trader, what those bracket exits are doing. If I'm long, then I'm going to have a sell stop market below current price to exit a long trade to protect capital, and I'm going to have a sell limit order above current price for a profit target. And if I happen to be short, rising prices are going to hurt me, so set stop market to buy above current price for my exit to protect capital, and then set a buy limit below price for my profit target. Once the trade is done, I'm going to go and write down what happened. I'm going to go ahead and print this. I'm going to poke holes in it, put it in a loose leaf binder along with a before and after picture of the chart. And then if I ever need to go back and review what I did on that particular day, I would have that information saved for me. So that's an example of a daily trading log. Okay?
Thank you for listening to our podcast. To find more podcasts on options, stocks, alternative markets, and market data, please visit www.ise.com/podcasts.